I'm Sue Sherman, and I'm a Stephen minister. During the month of October, you're going to be hearing testimonies from inactive Stephen ministers that were caregivers and from care receivers, people who received help during their difficult times. Each story is unique. Our Stephen Ministry program exists to serve God by bringing Christ's healing love to hurting people. Often we're asked, who do you serve? What, is it just for grieving? No, the answer to that is no. Stephen ministers are called the after people. Here's a little writing that explains it. Stephen ministers are there after you've washed and returned the last casserole dish, after the divorce papers have been served and the bottom line falls out of your life, after the last child honks the horn and waves and drives away and the house is suddenly incredibly empty, after you arrive home during the funeral, following the funeral service, and emotions you've held at bay come crashing in on you. Stephen ministers are there after the doctor says there's nothing more we can do. They're there after you realize the hands on that gold watch you received for your retirement party moved more slowly than you ever imagined. Stephen ministers are there after the nursing home director shakes your hand and says, "Welcome to your new home." After the gavel drops and the handcuffs go on and your loved ones are led away. Also, they're there after the baby has arrived, putting more demands on you than you ever dreamed possible. Or after you find that pink slip inserted with what is now your final paycheck. Stephen ministers are there for family and friends who have heard your story too many times, but you still need to talk it out. Stephen ministers are the after people. We are ready to come alongside of you or your friend or your neighbor or your coworker or your relatives and provide comfort and support for as long after as you need us. This next segment I would like to introduce is one of our former caregivers, and her name is Jane Harper.
Good morning. I need a friend, Lord, who would just listen. Not someone who's going to try and fix me or attempt to solve my problems, but someone who will accept me for who I am. Not someone who will become anxious or suspicious or frightened when I share my deepest feelings, but someone who will accept me. Not someone who's going to give me chatty advice or scold or judge me, but someone who will quietly point me to you. I need someone to listen, Lord, someone like you. The greatest need for people today is not for someone who will solve their problems for them, but rather someone who will listen empathetically to the darkest and deepest wounds of their inner selves. We may feel as though we were useless and not particularly helpful to a friend in the midst of a crisis, and yet he or she will say in gratitude, "You were there when I needed you." When COVID came along, at my advanced age, I decided to retire from Stephen's ministry. However, the skills and the gifts of listening have stayed with me. If you have those gifts of listening, we would love to have you join us. Call, we will listen.